And here we have a full interior cleaning on this Camaro. Now, before you get mad and you hate me and you send me death threats, I was not able to record the entire detail because it started drizzling. So I have to shut down production and just get to work. So there's no afters. I'm sorry. Please don't hate me. Dislike this video if you want. All up to you. But before we get into the video, I do want to say I released a brand new free guide called The Ultimate Guide to Start Your Detailing Business. If you're interested in starting your business, if you've lost track and you want to get back on track, if you're on the fence, download this free guide. It's 10,000 words. It took me 2 months to create. I've had a lot of great feedback from it. It's had hundreds of downloads by now. So check it out if you're interested in starting your own business. Other than that, check the links down below for the products, and let's get into this video. And please don't hate me because I didn't get any afters. So for starters, we're gonna vacuum the entire interior. Here I'm using my brand new, very expensive, but totally worth it, Festool dust extractor. It's not really called a vacuum, they call it a dust extractor. Very industrial. Super high quality. Totally love the vacuum. I'll be making a review on it soon, but I'm using it in combination with my drill brush to kick up all that debris, because there was actually a lot of dirt and debris across the interior. And funny enough is a lot of the debris was underneath the floor mats, not on the floor mats, which is kind of counterintuitive. How did the debris get underneath the floor mats? And in the back seats they didn't have any floor mats, but regardless, it was relatively simple to vacuum because of the carpeting. It wasn't like that impossible carpeting. It was like it was good enough carpeting where it kept all the fibers on top of the material and it didn't really sink into the fabric, which makes life a lot easier. And it wasn't really like dust or beach sand. It was just, you know, kind of clumped up dirt that's been sitting there for a while. So it was relatively easy to vacuum. I wish I had a better angle on this side, but on both sides, between the seat and the center console, there was so much paper and wraps from Starbucks. So as you can see, the back of the seats are pretty dirty, and you'll see that I'm pulling out a lot of wrappers and paper and just random things from underneath and between the seats and center console. Now be mindful, anytime you reach underneath an area you can't see, whether it's a seat or wherever around the vehicle, do not like rush your hands or arms through whatever you're working on, because you don't want to cut yourself or jam your hand or fingers or knuckles anywhere on the vehicle. It's happened to me countless times where I jam my hand or thumb somewhere. There's been a few times where I've been like slightly cut, but I've seen other detailers where they get completely, like, their hand gets slashed and they end up getting stitches and such. So just be very mindful and careful about that. But as you can see, it's a little bit out of focus. My bad. I couldn't really tell because I don't have a pull-out screen to see the camera. So it's a little bit out of focus, but it's still a good shot. there's a different ways you can vacuum the leather. You can have a different soft brush attachment to really be able to thoroughly vacuum. If you're using a crevice tool like this, don't be very careful and don't slide it across the leather too hard, as you can actually scratch it permanently. So what I do is I lightly tap on the leather seat to vacuum up the debris on the stitching and around the seats. You can also use a brush to kind of knock down all the debris from the stitching and the seat, and then vacuum up the leftovers. But a key thing is, do not go even slightly aggressive with or moderate pressure on the leather seat with a crevice tool, because you can scratch it. I'll go ahead and speed this one up even more because we've seen enough vacuuming, but a lot of you do like the vacuuming part. And again, just to show you, like, there's a lot of debris underneath the floor mat, not on the floor mat, and then there's still going to be more paper that I pull out between the center console and the seats. Now finally moving on to the door panels. I typically don't use a drill brush, but seeing how big the door panel was and how much plastic there is to clean, I figured it'd be a little easier and quicker to use the drill brush. But if you were to just use the chemical guide brush as I have, it wouldn't have made much of a difference, and it would have took me just a bit more of time. And on the more detailed areas, I'll move to the smaller brushes so I can really get into the tight areas and make sure I'm getting everything out. And when it comes to cleaning areas like this where we consistently kick, step on and such, it's better to clean with an aggressive brush, because a lot of that dirt is really caked into the material since we're always pushing it down to the plastic, since we're always stepping on it. So if I use a stiffer brush, I do a lot less passes than if I use a softer brush, because it's just going to take much longer to pull everything out with a softer brush versus an aggressive brush. I'm always asked what's the process I do for cleanings, and if you watch my videos, you'll basically see it's the same just about 80% of the time, where I clean the seats first, then the door panels, and then I jump over to the dashboard and center console. And if it requires it, I'll use a steamer. On some areas, more often than not, I'm just using the brushes, because like with the steam, I don't really want to use it around the center console. I mean around the instrument cluster, just because I don't want any steam to get behind the screen. So typically I'm just using the brushes as you see here, and it's typically like maybe 3 or 4 brushes with, you know, quite a few towels, just because you'll go through towels. And because the interior was black, it was a bit harder to see the layer of gunk that's accumulated on the surfaces, specifically the steering wheel. But overall, it came out much better. And if you had like, if it was like a beige color, or like just any color that wasn't black, like on the lighter side, it'd be a lot more obvious on how dirty it was. So it's good to have a black interior because it hides it. When it comes to cleaning it, you know, if you're not trained at it enough yet, it might be a little harder to clean it. So I actually had a phone call going on right now, and I had it on speaker, which is why I lowered the volume and I'm playing music over this. But here I'm using the yellow vinyl leather scrub brush. That's literally what it's called. Like, that's what it says on Amazon. So check down below for the links. But I'm using this more and more. I've seen other variations of this brush, and I do want to pick them up because whatever material that is, that gray material that's actually scrubbing, it's fantastic. And there's other brushes out there with different configurations that have that same material. So I am super interested in using more of those brushes because they are very handy in cleaning leather and plastic. Darn it. Ow. It's a little worn out, wouldn't you agree? Not much I can do here. Oh yeah, it's worn out, look at that. So I'll put this aside. I'll still touch it up, let the customer know, but they don't even have it on the other side, so it's, you know, it's gone. Discard that one. Excellent. Cleaning the passenger side center console always goes by super quick because there's not much there. As you can see, like, there's the vents and the what's it called, the glove compartment, but other than that, I mean, it's literally just all plastic, so that always goes by super quick. So you don't need to, like, anything fancy. You just, you know, and most of the time it's not even that dirty, so like just a quick pass with the brush, and like within a few, like 2 minutes or so, you should have that side complete, which is always good because you can just quickly speed by that part. and you can't really tell what I'm cleaning, but I just want to walk you through this. I still use that vinyl leather scrub brush, and I use it for fabric material and specifically the headliner. It works well, so I've been using, and specifically for the headliner, like I wouldn't use it to like clean the floor mats or the carpeting, but specific headliners this works great on, where I'll spray the cleaner onto the brush and then just agitate whatever I need to work on, and it comes out great. I mean, that's what I use it for. So if that tip helps you out, then try it out and see if you like it. Now to clean the stitching, there's a few variations you can go with. Here I'm spraying the cleaner onto the leather seat and then cleaning out the stitching by pulling the seats back a bit and getting a small bristle brush into those seams. Another way you can do it, just spray into the brush itself and then agitate. You can go directly to a steamer and skip the brush. It just depends on what you're working on. Here I'm kind of using both, so because there was a lot of dried on crusty stuff on the stitchings, I went through both the brush, APC, and then the steamer, and that worked out best. And then I followed up and just did my normal cleaning on the leather seat. You definitely want to check the stitchings on leather seats because there will be a lot of crumbs and like crusty things on there, and you want to make sure you get the most out. Yeah, I know, that's it. Very anticlimactic. This is where it ends here. I'm sorry. But that's going to wrap it up. Again, if you want to check out that guide, I put a lot of effort into it, and there's probably still some mechanical and grammatical errors. No worries though, because there's still a lot of great educational content. Check all the links down below. Let me know if you have any comments, questions, concerns, and I'll see you on the next one.